I have a presentation that I'm going to show you, but I guess, but Carolyn, you obviously can't see it. So I'll just talk about it as we go to, there's a little video that I'm gonna show in the middle of it, but I think still just the audio will work for you. So we should be just fine. And if nothing else, you can go back and watch the recording too.
I'm in the meeting. I'm just connecting my phone for audio.
Perfect. I'm never sure from this end, you know, because I can't see you, can't see your face, so I don't know what you can see and that kind of thing. So we have one more person joining us, so I'll pause for just a second and wait. Marcy, are you here?
I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can't see you. Can you see us? Can you see me?
I can. Sorry about that. I'll see if I can figure out the video.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can try and help you with it too. But if you can see me, then that's totally fine. I don't need to see you. I know we're all working from home. Like no one is showering and looking nice. Totally don't worry about turning the video on if you don't want to. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started with what I have prepared. If at any time though you have questions, please just either pop in the chat and leave a comment and ask a question. Speak up. There's just the 4 of us here right now, so it won't be a cluster of noise if anyone wants to speak up and ask a question. In fact, there's a lot of times along the way where I'll ask you for your input, since we're talking about public speaking and perfecting how we sell ourselves to others. It's helpful to do a lot of practicing as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And if it doesn't work, let me know. There we go. We all good? Can everybody see that? Yes, good. Okay. So today we're going to talk about perfect your pitch, which is kind of a jazzy alliterative way of saying learn how to speak better to other people, learn how to sell what you do, learn how to talk yourself up. I think we're often pretty used to downplaying what we do and saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal, that sort of thing. But today's all about changing that mindset from I'm just whatever to knowing exactly how to sell what it is that you do the most effectively. So I'd like to do some introductions if we can, just so we can get to know each other a little bit. Your name, your business's name, and then think about 1 to 3 adjectives that describe your business. Adverbs are okay. I'm an English teacher, but we're not going to be that sticklerish. And then 1 to 3 verbs to describe what you do, the action words, right? So I can go first. My name is Rachel. My business's name is Midwest Writing and Editing, which is fairly self-explanatory, but not always, which is why I'm here to talk to you about my pitch. 1 to 3 adjectives. I think that my business is creative, it's effective, and some verbs. Obviously writing and editing I'm going to claim as 1 verb, and then communicating and teaching are my verbs. So does anyone want to go next? Your name, business's name. I'm just going to go right down the line as I see you. I'm Katie. Your name, business's name, adjectives, and verbs.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Poland-LeClaire. The business, I'm going to do this, Rachel, on the new one that I'm getting going. So the business is called Better, Smarter, Stronger. Adjectives. Inspiring.
I mean, your business name kind of is 3 adjectives, which is kind of cool.
Right.
But aside from that.
Adjectives.
I know, I'm putting you all on the spot. It's okay.
But let's see. So inspiration, motivation, yeah, those are the big ones. And verbs. Change, making change, and feeling good.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
awesome. This is not, don't get too wrapped up in the grammar of it all. We're just thinking of ways to describe our business and then ways to say what our business does, right? So it's just a different way of saying that is all. Carolyn, would you like to go next?
Sure. Carolyn Dieters, and again, so I just have a startup idea. I haven't refined this whatsoever. So initially it was indelible aging, but someone said that there's some negativity around the word aging, which I don't really understand, but so that might change. Adjectives. I need to work on the adjectives. The verbs are easy.
Okay.
Connected.
Okay, good.
Community, engaging, connected, community.
Good. Good. Wonderful. Thank you. We'll come back to the adjectives. Don't worry. And Marcy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My name is Marcy McIntyre Moros, and my company's name is Refocus Business Solutions. Let's see, adjectives. Helpful. Growing. Professional.
Yeah.
With a question mark. Verbs. Confidential. Oh wait, no, verbs. Let me think here. Helping? Is that a verb?
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's what you do. That's wonderful.
I'll have to keep working on that.
Yeah, think about it. Just keep thinking about it. That's good. That's good. And we have one more person who just joined us. Nicole, can you hear us? Can you see me? Let's see if I can help Nicole. Well, Nicole, I'm just going to keep going. And oops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to connect Nicole and I'm losing my screen. Okay. So hopefully this will work in this setting. If this doesn't work, if you can't see what it is, what's going on, just unmute yourself and say, it's not working. Because my chat bar is gone now that I have my full screen here. So if it's not working, let me know. But we're gonna watch a video from one of my very favorite programs, Schitt's Creek. I don't know if anyone else is as obsessed with it as I am, but we're gonna watch just a quick, very, very short video of, oh, okay. Nicole, yeah, try to call in. Exactly, thank you. Or post the answers in the chat, Nicole, if that works better for you. That's totally fine. I can read them to the group. Okay, this is a video of a pitch gone not so well. So while we're watching it, just jot down some notes of what you think went wrong. What you think went wrong, okay? Hopefully it works. Ah! It's not gonna work. That's okay. That's all right. Well, I will tell you what went wrong as we're all trying to navigate this whole new crazy thing together. The premise was that he was trying to sell his family on the idea of a car, right? We need to buy a new car. And his audience completely overtook what he was trying to say because he was not prepared. He didn't have a plan. He was not organized. He didn't know what he was going to talk about before he started talking. So things completely went off the rails, right? But honestly, even without watching this cute little Schitt's Creek video, you can still turn to your own packet that you should have either in front of you like this or on your desktop as a fillable form. You see there's a spot there for you to think about your adjectives and your verbs if you're still pondering those, but there's also a spot for you to write about your own pitch. how could your pitch go wrong? How has your pitch gone wrong? I will tell you that some of the most common reasons that pitches go wrong is because they're too long. You sort of blah, 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 right? And just keep going and going and going. And in the midst of that, you're still too vague. No one really knows what it is that you're talking about. We can be too simple, but on the flip side of the coin, we can be way too technical. If we have a product-based business, it can be easy to get way too into the weeds about how we do what we do and how we make what we make and that sort of thing. And pitches are often also very scattered, especially if you're really excited about an idea, or if it's a new idea and you're not really sure entirely of where it's going yet. We sometimes talk about this, then this, then this, then this, instead of really staying directed. So maybe these have gone wrong for you. Maybe there are other ways that your pitch has gone wrong in the past, that you've tried to tell people what it is that you do, and you find yourself just being overwhelmed and confused, and you can see in their eyes that they're lost. So take just a quick minute, and on the front page of your workbook there, just jot down ways that your pitch either has gone wrong in the past, that you've tried to tell people about your business and you realize, what did I just say? What was that? So ways that it has gone wrong, or ways that it could go wrong. If you haven't tried to sell your business to someone yet, if you are maybe still in the initial brainstorming phases and you're just trying to figure out how it is you're going to talk about, how you're going to talk about yourself. Talk about how it has gone wrong. Okay, I'll give you just a minute. I'll set my little timer for a minute, and then we'll share. I should also, as you're writing, I should tell you that in my past life, I was a high school English teacher. So I like sharing. I like making people share and calling on people. But we're also grown-ups. You guys aren't 10th graders, so no one will be forced to share. Okay, jot down your last couple of ideas if you're still writing. And Carolyn, would you like to share? Do you want to get started?
Sure. So are adjectives supposed to be different from my verbs? Because I feel like some words can be both.
Some words can totally overlap. Yes, and we'll come back to those when we work on our own pitches in a minute. But right now, I want us to think about how our own pitches have gone wrong in the past. Were you able to jot down some ideas? If not, no worries, I'll come back to you.
Engaging, supportive, connective, community-minded.
Okay, excellent. Have you been able to jot down notes on the next section on how has your pitch gone wrong if you've tried to sell it in the past? Tried to sell yourself in the past?
Oh, okay. I already messed up the first assignment.
No. We'll come back to it. I don't think there's a messing up with this. This is just working through a process and chatting and being together. There's no messing up. Absolutely no messing up. But I will come back to you. Okay.
Well, I would say that I was unprepared to pitch, so that's how it went wrong. So thank you.
Good. Yes, absolutely. That's very great. That's great. Marcy.
Hi. Yeah, I would agree with Carolyn, unprepared. The first time I had to pitch, I somehow had no idea that someone was going to ask me what I did. And then also not very sure of myself, not confident. And some in the beginning, and still even now, the pitch kind of changes where,
Mhm.
as a startup, you're not really sure what you can do. And so sometimes it changes.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Nicole, I don't know if you want to jot down some things to share with us. Otherwise, if you do, go ahead. Unless we can start hearing you now. I think maybe we can. Can you hear us, Nicole? Well, we'll come back. And if you want to, Nicole, to just jot some things down if we can't hear you. Katie, where has your pitch gone wrong or?
Okay. I have the same as Marcy. I think it wasn't confident enough.
Mhm.
And if I'm not confident, then I don't think the person I'm talking to is going to be very confident in what I'm
Mhm.
trying to, tell them about, for the business. So
Mhm.
that was the big
Yep.
one. And then also, along with confidence, I put down that it was not concrete enough. It was ideas, but it was a little too ethereal and not concrete enough.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Nicole. Good. If you want to pop in here, Nicole, too, and share at any point with what we're talking about, just pop it into the chat, and we can all see on my screen. And if not, I can share with what you're saying. So if you couldn't see, Nicole said that she can hear us. And if Nicole, you want to share at all how your pitch has gone wrong, feel free. Otherwise, we're welcome to have you here just listening too. A bit scattered. Nicole says a bit scattered. Yes. So being very scattered and all over the place is completely normal at the beginning of this process. I think we also, especially as women, we tend to downplay what we're doing a lot. And that can really get your pitch off the rails. If at the beginning you say, well, I'm just, or, well, I don't really know yet. And it's complicated. When I was first starting in this business, doing what I do now, I was an English teacher until my son was born. I decided not to go back to teaching, but I started to need to do something else. So for the longest time, I used to tell people that I was just on an extended maternity leave. Like, why would I say that? Why would I put that huge qualifier on this work that I do? It was ridiculous. Because honestly, I didn't know if maybe I was going to go back to teaching, but people don't need to know all that, right? They don't need to know, they don't need to know so many things. And I feel like we sometimes overshare with our pitches too. So there are a lot of things we should not include, right? I talked a little bit about my own personal things about oversharing. But when you do your pitch, no one needs to know your revenue. No, you don't need to talk about the number of employees you have. You don't need to talk about how long you've been doing this. You don't need to get into all the struggles you've been having, the challenges that you've been having. And we don't need your extended biography. And we don't really need general chit chat. If you're sitting with a friend or this is a colleague or someone who is curious about your process, that's a different story. That's not what this is. This is this is like a cold introduction, and you got to get to the point as soon as you can. And so we don't need all the other superfluous details. Way too in the weeds. And honestly, even if you had all the time in the world, if this is a business contact, most of this information is not going to be at all relevant or necessary, unless you're talking with like an angel investor or someone like that. They don't need to know about the personal details of your business. It's personal information is personal information, and even if it's in regards to your professional life, it's still not something that you need to be sharing with someone else. But I know that this is such a we sometimes want to, right? We want to share our struggles, especially, and we want to share our journey. And just if we worked really hard on a technical aspect of it, we want to share that we've overcome something. So on the next page of your sheet, of your packet, this page, about the elements of your business that you would want to include in a pitch, but you know that you shouldn't. So this is sort of a therapeutic exercise for us. And we'll spend just a minute on it now, but I would encourage you to keep this on hand to keep it close by. It can be very therapeutic to get out all the things. And then if you notice at the bottom of the story, it says to thank those things for being part of your story. You wanted those struggles and challenges that you've overcome are incredibly important to recognize, even if they're not necessarily part of a good pitch. So we're not going to share this because this is a little, it can be a little personal, but I do want to give you a minute just to start to jot down what elements of your business do you maybe wish that you could share with others, but you know you couldn't? Or what do you know you shouldn't share, but you know that is relevant to where you are today and you just want to get it down on paper. So I'll give you just a minute again, just to jot down some ideas. We won't share it, but I just want to let you, while we're in the moment, get started on this. So just one quick minute. And if you have a question about what we're doing, raise your hand, pop in the chat. Let me know. I'm here. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next section, which is what our pitch should include and what we're going to craft, what our pitches are going to look like. So the quick elevator pitch. I don't know if everyone's heard the term elevator pitch before, but the idea is that if you were, how would you describe your business if you only had a quick elevator ride with someone to completely describe what you do? So that's why we call it an elevator pitch, but it's really just any quick pitch. So it really should be fewer than 10 seconds. It can be really, really hard. 10 seconds can either feel like an eternity if you don't know what to say and you're staring at someone, or it can feel like no time at all if you are, if you really have a lot to say, which we all, I feel, after we think about it, we all have a lot to say about our businesses. So it should be 10 seconds or fewer. It's the most succinct answer to, so what do you do, right? Even if you have more than 10 seconds, the elevator pitch is such a great way to start off that awkward conversation. So what do you do, right? It's just one sentence. It includes your job title or a very brief description of what you do. It explains how your business solves a problem. And it uses those adjectives and verbs again. We're back to those. And it also leaves room for questions so that if you do have longer than 10 seconds, or I don't know, the elevator gets stuck, you have something to talk about. And it's a conversation starter, okay? An elevator pitch is not, boom, that's what I do and I'm done. It's that's what I do, and it invites the person to ask follow-up questions if there's time, which is nice. Let's see here. Nicole, I'll come back at the end, and if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them, okay, if there's anything that you missed along the way. Okay, so I'm going to share my pitch, and then we're going to go ahead and fill in this section of your packet. Whom is it for? What does it do? Why is it needed? And how does it get done? Okay, so this is my pitch. I'm a writer and teacher who helps creative women write better and communicate more effectively. It took several iterations, honestly, for me to get this down to just one sentence. But you'll notice that I have all the pieces of the puzzle. I have my job title. I'm a writer and a teacher. You notice I left out editor in my elevator pitch because I feel like that's maybe not as important as the other work that I do. And your elevator pitch is also your chance to focus on what you want to focus on, right? I don't like editing as much as I like writing and teaching. So I don't need to tell people that I'm an editor because I'd rather they ask me to do writing or teaching as opposed to editing. So I'm a writer and a teacher. It's my job title. There's the problem that I solve. I help people write better and I help them communicate more effectively, right? Those are 2 problems. You can have 3 problems. You can have 1 problem, maybe not more than 3. I'd say 1 or 2 is probably a good benchmark, but there's a problem and here's how I solve it, okay? There's one of my adjectives, creative. I help creative women. I could have put any adjective in here. I could have, you know, used entrepreneurial women. I could have used, you know, any number of different adjectives, but I feel like this one is the most all-encompassing for what I do personally. And then my verb is that I help. I help people, and here's the problem that I help solve. How do you solve the problem? I do it by helping creative women, okay? I could have I could have put teach in there. I teach people. I maybe would have then gotten rid of I'm a writer and teacher. I would have said I'm a writer who also teaches creative women how to write. So there's room to like play. There's no wrong way to do this. And I might have a few versions of it that I play with in my head, and depending on who my audience is, you know, maybe I'm gonna really focus on the teacher. You know, I'm a teacher who helps creative women write better, right? So there's a lot of different ways to play with your own pitch. And I think it's good to have a few working versions. Otherwise it can sound really rote and very like, this is who I am, this is what I do. And we don't want that either, right? We still want to sound conversational. And honestly, the best way to get to that point, I know I said we would be talking about public speaking in general, and I feel like this is a good time to make this particular point. Public speaking, I think it's either the thing that people fear the most, or it's like the second behind like dying a miserable death or something like that. Like it's above heights, it's above snakes, it's above spiders. I mean, it's so high up there in terms of people's fears. And honestly, the only way to get over it is just to do it. And I know that sounds like kind of a cop out, but when I taught public speaking, my kids on the first day of school would be like, I'm not doing this. I was put in this class. I do not want to be here. I'm not speaking in front of this class at all. And by the end of the semester, they were clamoring over each other to be the first one to get up in the front of the room, because we just did it every single day. And they got used to it, and eventually they loved it. And a big part of that was that we had a community in our class, and that made it more comfortable for them to get in front of the group. But that's probably that's why you should definitely then also practice in front of people with whom you are more comfortable, a spouse, and honestly a pet. If you have a pet, oh my goodness, practice on the dog first. Like seriously, they never give bad feedback. They're good listeners, right? Most of them stay where you tell them to. And it gives you that practice without being nervous that you're going to get some negative feedback. So your pitch, yes, practice different ways, practice in the shower, practice it, while you're getting ready and you're looking in the mirror, like I'm a writer and teacher who helps, right? Just say it and do it and do it and do it and do it. That's really the best advice I can give in terms of getting over a fear of public speaking. So let's go ahead now, turn to this sheet that I've been talking about. It has the 4 different parts of the pitch on it. And think about what this is for you. For whom is your business? Whom is your business for? What do you do? Why is it needed? And how does it get done? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I looking at the wrong one? No, I think I'm okay. If anyone has any questions while you're doing this, just pop up in the chat box, let me know. I'd like to be able to share them with each other if we can, since practice is the best way. And if it's not perfect, do not worry about it being perfect at all. And the 2 pages of your packet actually work together. I'm sorry, I should have said that. The who's it for, what does it do, why is it needed, how does it get done, and then build on that with the next page. That's where it has the pieces, more specific pieces of the pitch, which will probably help you with your actual writing here. So while you're working, I just want to be sure we're all on the same page, literally. Who's it for? These 4 questions will help get you started and get some good information down, which you can then use to fill in this one. Job title, what problem do you solve? And these are the specific pieces of the pitch. And down here at the very end, you'll see, give it a shot, right? Again, let me know if you have any questions along the way while you're working through this. It can be really tricky, especially the first time. Maybe a couple more minutes to work through this.
Rachel, I got through the first page pretty easily, but it is taking me a little bit of time to get through the second page. Can we have maybe like 2 or 3 more minutes?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. If you have any questions about any of them, or if you want to talk through any of those elements, anyone, let me know. If you are having trouble describing the problem you solve, for example, we can talk about it. I can also share while you all are writing. You'll notice at the end of the second page, it says to set up your follow-up. My follow-up would be someone saying, oh, so how do you do that? So then I can share, oh, well, here's information about my courses and about the products I create and where you can learn more about what I do. So it's an invitation to continue the conversation somehow. Another minute or two. Let me know if you still need more time than that.
So so if I completed the 2 pages, I mean, yours is much shorter and doesn't have all the information. So how did you decide the important pieces?
I really, it's just a matter of picking what I feel is the most relevant information and the biggest pieces of what I do. So my job title, right, I'm a writer, a teacher. I chose not to say editor just because I don't enjoy that work as much as others. So, and I feel that I do more writing and more writing than editing. And my problem is that I help people maybe don't write as well as they want or communicate as effectively as they want to. So that's the problem that I'm solving. Poor, not great writing, weak communication, those are problems that I'm solving. And I'm using just one adjective, creative. I'm not using all my adjectives. And I'm just using one verb, I help. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's okay if we start with something that's this big, and then we're like, we can shorten it, we can shave off, and we can make the language a little tighter as we go. It's better to start here and have to be here than have nothing to say and try to make stuff up. That was a great question. Any other questions? So Nicole was wondering the what does it do question. That's just what does your business do? What do you do? What does it? The it is referring to your business. So whom is your business for? I see my the people that I usually work with as creative women, female entrepreneurs, people in creative fields. What does it do? I help people write. I help people communicate. Why is it needed? Because people want to write more effectively. They want to be able to communicate more effectively. There's a lack of clear instruction for professional women, especially about how to do that, how to have a strong voice, how to communicate most effectively. And I get it done by teaching, by communicating, by having a lot of free resources available. So right, a lot of that I just said from that sheet 1 is not in my pitch. Okay. The first page is a process to get us thinking about the key aspects of our business. And then I pick the most relevant pieces for that second page. When I said, why is it needed? Because people want to know how to do this. I'm not saying that in my pitch. I'm just talking about the problem that I solve. The need, I think, is inherent when you talk about what problem it is that you're solving. I can say that I help people write better, and the person I'm talking to is going to understand, oh, people must not write as well as they could, or as well as they want to, or as well as they should. And those are all perfectly fair interpretations of what I said. So I hope that helps. Does anyone need a little more time? I know this is a lot to get through in like 5 minutes. So that's why I wanted you to have these written materials in front of you, and why I'm gonna, I can send you both this presentation and a copy of or a link to view our call, so you can return to this, because I think it takes, it just takes time. It takes time to get it the way you want it. And it's kind of nice though, because as you work through, especially if you're getting started on a business, and I know at least 2 of you here today, this is like a almost brand new venture. This can also really help you focus what it is that where your business is going, and how you're going to focus your energy and your attention, which is a valuable tool too. Okay, so I do want us to have some time to be able to practice. So Let's see if this works. Oh, none of my fun little, oh, there it is. Okay, so this we can start again. Don't worry. And I know it's a little bit frightening. Is it working? Are we all seeing the kind of frightening countdown? Okay. So if you want to just mute your audio so we're not all talking at the same time, or if you just want to say it in your head, totally fine. Or read it to yourself, or however you want to do it. But this timer's for 10 seconds. I just want to see how well we're doing at getting our pitch down and getting it under the 10 seconds. Okay. So I'm going to see if it'll let me do this again. It might just move on to the next slide because that's how things are going in the world these days. But if not, you know, hopefully it'll work. Let's see here. Yay. Okay. I'll do it a few times, so don't stress about it. We'll do it a few times. Do it in your head to yourself. Okay. Let's try again. Is anybody comfortable sharing? Now, you don't have to share your pitch yet, but is anyone under 10 seconds? Is anyone there?
I think mine is.
Yeah.
Carolyn.
Oh, good. Oh, that's so good. And Katie, you raised your hand too. You think yours is too? Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Do you feel like you got all the? Yeah. Oh, Marcy, that's awesome. Do we feel like we got all the? Did you feel like you got all the big pieces? Especially the problem. I feel like the problem is the hard one, right? And that's where it takes you from just telling people what you do to a real pitch, right? This is why I'm needed. This is why my business is needed in the world. So do you all think you got to the problem too? You addressed the problem that you solve?
More or less.
Yeah, more or less. That's good. That's good. That's good. This isn't a process of perfection. If any of you, does anyone want to share their pitch and get feedback? Or yes, Katie? Okay, good.
Okay, because I'm gonna use one word descriptor for myself, but then I would love some feedback because I have kind of two in here. Anyway, I'll just start with the first one. I am a lifelong learner who inspires and empowers other women to make changes they desire in their lives.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Is lifelong learner, would you consider that your job title?
No, and that's why I was like, that's the part I was struggling with, because it was like, I had founder, I had business owner, and I'm like, well, what's the word or the description that's gonna make people, it's not, I want it to be more peer-to-peer, not, like a hierarchical thing. So I didn't want to say something that was going to seem too bossy.
No, I agree. What is it that what do you do with the, like, I know that this is still a very new business, but do you speak? Do you teach? Do you lead? What do you do?
All right, that's a good one. So I think it would be, I am a motivator who inspires and empowers other women to make changes they desire in their lives.
Do you offer classes? I'm asking you a lot of hard questions, but tell me to stop anytime. Do you what vehicle do you use to get that important information to young women? Do you know that yet?
No, one of them is building a community and having a membership.
I think that's great. I build a community of women. I'm building a community of women.
Okay.
I think that's a very concrete. I'm building a community of women, and then right, and the rest of it.
Great.
That's more.
Thank you.
It's not as vague. I think that's good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is anyone else comfortable sharing? If you don't want to, you definitely don't have to. Okay.
I can. I'm the founder of a platform that easily connects older adults and their caregivers to social engagement opportunities in their community, supporting well-being. I think it's
I think that's great. I think that's so good. I have a perfectly clear picture of what you do. I have a great follow-up question. I want to know what kind of platform. I want to know how it works. I want to hear success stories, but that's great. It's a very clear picture of what you do, how you do it, and the problem that you solve. I think that's spot on. That's so good. That's so good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I say platform because I'm not sure if it'll be. I mean, eventually it'll be an app, but it might start as a, an online
Mm-hmm.
website.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think it's great. And I think that's okay. It's okay. Platform is still enough of a descriptor that I understand that people are going to be coming together somehow. And that's okay. But it leaves me room for more questions. Like, I want to know how you're going to do this. I want to know how my parents can get involved in this. I want, I have some great follow-up questions. So that's wonderful. That's good. Good. And I'm not sure, Katie, if you saw Nicole's comment about the supporting well-being that you can, or if that was for Marcy. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure when for Carolyn. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Fitting it in earlier. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I was trying to stick in, why it's important or what I'm solving, and it's really social isolation, but I don't think, like, in common conversation, people talk about social isolation. I don't know.
Well, you don't have to necessarily use the word social isolation. You can talk about how you're bringing people together, I think bringing people together is a great way to talk about what you do. And the inherent problem then is there. I know that if you're talking about bringing people together, it's because they're not together now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing that. So you don't have to use words like social isolation. You can talk about the positive things that you do, right? My pitch, I don't talk about how people don't know how to write, because that would be a horrible thing to say. And I don't necessarily know if that's always true. But I just want people to write better, right? And you just want to bring people together. We all have these visions of what we do because we want to make a change and we want things to be better. And that in and of itself is a problem that we're solving. But we don't have to talk about the problem. We can just talk about what we're doing and how we're solving it. I think that was great feedback. Anybody else? Does anybody else want to share or want feedback on their pitch?
Sure.
Okay.
This is Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
Let's see. I own a consulting business that supports small businesses with human resources and operational needs so they can focus on growing their businesses.
Okay. Can you hear? I'm sorry. Give it to me one more time.
I own a sorry, let me start over. I own a consulting business that supports small businesses with human resources and operational needs so they can focus on growing their business.
Okay. I would start right off the bat with I support. Instead of talking about that you own the consulting business, I would just say I support, I think it was small businesses. I support small businesses by doing this specific thing.
Okay.
Do you think that still works? Does that still?
Yeah, that's what I had originally, and then I just at the last minute added I own it because we were talking about what it is that I do.
Sure, and I think support is still enough of a verb for what you do.
Okay,
definitely. Good. And then it leaves great room for a follow-up, right? Like, oh, who do you work for, or who do you, how do you do that, right? We can say, well, I own the company and I manage this many people, and this is how we, this is my team that does that. I know I said not to get into like employment numbers and that kind of thing, but if you're the owner, you can certainly talk about, I have a team of 10 people working to implement, and then you can get into the specific ways that you support those businesses. But yeah, saying I support, I think is a great way. I love active verbs. It's the English teacher in me, right? I love starting with active verbs, or incorporating them in there somehow. Good.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Oh, this is Nicole's. I'm not sure. I think everyone can see it. In a world of Marie Kondo downsizing, I curate experiences for people that help them live more fulfilling lives. I love the Marie Kondo thing. That's super fun. I kind of want to know more about what you mean by curate experiences. I know that leaves room for follow-up, which I love. I wonder if it can be just a teeny bit more specific, because I don't really understand what you do. I feel it's such a fine line, right, between leaving room for follow-up questions and not leaving it too vague. Yes, it is the struggle. It is. So what is your, like, what would you say your job title is, Nicole? If you're comfortable sharing. Poor Nicole is trying to manage kids at home, which I am too, which is why my door is closed. And I don't know if you all can hear them down there, but oh my gosh, this is a new kind of crazy, isn't it? With kids at home and trying to do what we do. Forget about perfecting your pitch. We should just like perfecting, you know, surviving for the next couple of weeks. It's just ridiculous. Okay. Okay, ambassador. Nicole's an ambassador. Joy ambassador. Okay. Life curator. Oh, life doula. Oh, I wrote I write a parenting column too, and one of my pieces was called I am a poop doula, because my dear darling at the time 3-year-old was learning how to use the potty, and oh my gosh, I was like a doula, like just breathe it down. I love the term life doula. I don't know if everybody knows what that means. I think it's more ubiquitous now than it was. I feel like we need to work on this a little bit more, and I don't want to take more time with it now. But I'm simultaneously intrigued, and like I want you to find the more specific. So I feel like we need to talk about that privately, Nicole, because I want to dig into it some more. All right, so okay, we've talked about what happens if we have just 10 seconds, which is great. But what if you do have more time? What if someone says, you know, oh, what do you mean by life experiences? What is a doula, right? Or, you know, what people often ask me, well, how do you do that? How do you teach adults? That's crazy. So this is where we start to think about, well, what if we do have more time? What if someone asks me a follow-up question? Then what do I get to do? How do I get to expand on the limitations that I gave myself? So for some of us, this will be very easy, right? If we started here and we were like, oh, I got to get it to 10 seconds. This can be easy, right? To expand back out. The trick though is to not just expand to where we were, but we worked hard to get it to here. Then how do we purposefully step back? So in the course of a conversation about our business, we don't start just jibber jabbering and getting all over the place. Okay. So it's still a fine line. It's still a fine line. And the next page of your packet will help with that. It answers the questions that are on the screen. If you have more time, excuse me, say you're at a cocktail party or a networking event or something like that, where you're talking about yourself, you're answering the how. The first question is how. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that? And I don't mean, well, I do it by renting an office space in Maple Grove and having 10 people come to work every day. Like that's not what I mean. How is the how do you make your vision happen? Do you teach classes? Do you connect? How do you connect people? What platform do you use to connect people? How do you bring these young women together? How are you empowering people? Okay. And then expand on the problem that you solved in your pitch. My problem was helping people write better and communicate more effectively. I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to talk more about some of the tools that I use. I'm going to talk more about my personal background as a teacher, as a public speaker. I worked on Capitol Hill for a long time and would do public speaking there. I'm going to talk about that experience because it's relevant experience. You solve the problem with your very relevant, very specific experience. Why does Marie Kondo speak to you? Are you just so able to cut through all the fluff in life, like she's able to cut through all the garbage in our closets, right? That kind of stuff. And And then explain, how are you different than others like you? Unlike other writers, I am not an introvert who doesn't like to leave my house or talk to other people. I love engaging with other people. I love sharing with other people how transformative quality writing and public speaking can be, okay? And then I open the door for collaboration. And on your sheet, you'll notice that answers the how can we work together question, right? So I'm gonna perhaps then turn the tables and ask the person who's talking to me, you know, are you interested in writing more? Or what experience with writing do you have? Or tell me about your public speaking fears. Are you afraid of public speaking just like nearly everybody else in the universe? Or are snakes and spiders still more for you? And then we'll talk about that. No. But this is just, and none of this is not obviously all you can talk about in a follow-up business conversation. But I think sometimes we get so focused on, okay, here's the 10-second sell, that then when someone asks a follow-up, we are like a deer in headlights and we have no way to continue talking about what we do. So having sort of just some guideposts for you can be helpful. And I hope this leads to, filling the whole back page of this with more information about yourself. So take a few minutes again. I don't know if we need to share these as much, but if they influence your pitch, and if you want to go back and share a revised pitch that you were able to come up with because of this sheet here, then certainly let us know, and we'll listen to your revision. So just a few minutes, just jot down just some ideas on this page here. And that other line is your job title. I don't know if I sort of hit on that in my example, but I didn't say it explicitly. So, and if you're still struggling with that, you don't have to have a specific title there. Let me know if you have any questions in this part too. Any concerns or questions. Is anyone's pitch changing? Do they think more about their longer sell? Just another couple minutes to think about this. And again, if you need more time on your own, obviously, yes. All of this is just a starting point. All right, so continue to work on this, continue to build on it. And I'm excited to see where it goes for all of you. So this is all I have formally. We can still certainly stay and have a conversation. I can answer any questions. On the last page of your sheet is just information, the same information that's on your screen. I do a lot of just sharing, especially over on Instagram, like writing tips and tricks, public speaking, thoughts and ideas, course updates, that sort of thing. The image on your screen and on your handout is my website is like that close to being done, including that amazing like 100 most common writing mistakes. My mom is an English teacher too, or was an English teacher. And so the two of us have had just an irritatingly to everyone else good time coming up with 100 things that trip people up a lot, and then how to spot them, how to fix them, that sort of thing. So if you pop on over to Instagram and follow me there, you'll be the first to know when this site is live and when you can get that awesome resource. And it's also where I'll share upcoming, like I said, upcoming courses and all sorts of helpful info. So any questions? Any questions before I let everybody go? For my website, I built this on Wix. I built my website on Wix. It has a lot of limitations, but for right now, it works. Yeah, I like that I don't have to pay someone every time I want to update something. And as a teacher, I tend to share a ton of like resources, like things I used to just create for my students. I don't want to say worksheets, but that kind of thing, right? Like a reference guide, a quick guide to this and helpful tool for that. And when I start noticing something that a lot of people are asking me about, I'll just make a quick reference guide or pop it on my website. And I like with Wix that I can just do it myself. So yeah, yes. How am I promoting other than on social media? That is really, I sometimes will send, when I have a new thing, I'll send an email. When I have a new course or something big launching, I'll send an email. But I'm usually quicker with social media. I'll often post like before it's completely done, right? Like work in progress, kind of behind the scenes, especially over on Instagram stories, that kind of stuff. I work overshare. I try really hard not to share much about my kids because, well, my son is 8 and he's like, don't post that. So, I mean, okay, I don't. But I try to respect their privacy too. So it's a lot of just, it's almost all just professional stuff. And yesterday it was honestly me asking if it was too soon to start drinking wine at like 1:30 in the afternoon. Oh, because this is already like, it's crazy. Yeah, just wild. So any other questions about your pitch or public speaking in general, writing in general? Yes, definitely spend more time with it when kids aren't around. Well, and you know, Ernest Hemingway used to say to write drunk and edit sober. So maybe tonight, after they're in bed, enjoy a glass of wine, start working on the pitch, and then tomorrow pour some coffee and edit it a little bit. Yeah. Oh, LinkedIn, yes. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm on LinkedIn too. Yep. Yes. Yep. LinkedIn is good. I always forget about that one, but I'm on LinkedIn too. I don't update it very much with LinkedIn. Again, if I have like a big course or a new launch, I'll pop over there. But in terms of like daily grind stuff, I'm usually over on Instagram. So yes. Good. Any other questions?
Rachel, are you going to think about doing a course on public speaking?
I don't know. So I'm working on a writing course right now, right? And I've thought about it. I'd love to. One thing at a time. This was helpful. And if you either, if you want to just privately send me some feedback, this is the first time I've done a Zoom class like this. So hopefully we were still able to, to get something out of it. But if there's something that you would have liked that I talk more about, or something that wasn't quite clear enough, please, 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 my email address is on the on your packet. It's just rachel@midwestwriting.com. Or send me a DM or connect on LinkedIn, however you want to reach out to me. But please be forthright and honest. And if you have any questions about your specific pitch, just, let me know too. And I'm happy to work through it with you too. Yeah. Any other questions before I let you guys go?
Yep,
Okay.
one more question.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
If everyone, I know that Carolyn said something about connecting everyone on LinkedIn. If everyone's okay, can we share like email addresses or contact info with each other? I don't know if that's something that we send you a message privately, and then whoever says yes, then maybe you send it out to the class participants or something.
Yeah, we can, if people are here, they can also pop it in the chat box, and we can copy and paste from there. I can certainly send, if it's okay with Carolyn, Katie, Marcy, and Nicole, who's here, I can just email the four of you with each other's contact info. I don't want to do that for people who aren't here today, but I'd be more than happy to send a follow-up. Send me a message if that's not okay with you. I guess we'll do that. And then I'll send a quick follow-up. I have to send us our, oh, look, there's everyone's email anyway. I'm going to send you all the presentation from today and the Zoom call, the recording of this call here too. Networking is so important. It's so important. It really is. And you never realize quite how important until you start doing it. Yes, you're welcome. Good. Any other last minute questions? No? Okay. All right. Well, again, send me a DM, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Instagram, send me an email, send me a message, send me an owl if you're a Harry Potter fan, and we'll keep the conversation going. Yes. Everyone stay healthy, stay safe, and good luck if you have children in your house right now. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.